Yes, sir.
All right, yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 2.
Yeah, and this is obviously take one.
We definitely we do everything first take. It's just what we do. We're naturals at this point.
Now, I don't want to name any names. You know, this is the second episode, and don't want to get into too much beef. But
Right.
it wasn't me, obviously.
Okay. That's what we're doing.
So
we're starting off like that. All right.
It definitely wasn't me that messed up the not recording.
Yeah. So today, guys, we want to talk about fake friends.
And I just so happened I'm sitting right in front of one.
It's actually crazy because sometimes you could even do a podcast with somebody and they could still be right in front of you. So
Yeah, man, you can hang out with somebody all the time, and they're fake.
Yeah. I guess wow, that's crazy.
No, it's funny about that. Side note, before I get into what I want to say, I've been watching Selling Sunset, which you would like. Selling Sunset on Netflix.
What is that?
It's real estate agents that go around. Graham Stephan.
I almost became a real estate agent.
Yeah, I know. The Oppenheim group that Graham Stephan used to work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's his show, and the girls are the most catty people on earth. Bro, it's brutal, man. This one girl, she called her two-faced. Bro, it's crazy. You gotta watch it. Wow. I just thought you saying that you had me thinking about the show.
Yeah.
But no, we were just at lunch and we were talking and just talking about how we evolve and stuff like that, evolve versus change.
Right.
And I was thinking how I was in high school and I'm the same person, but not really. I've changed. There's some things that I've done, but I didn't really feel like I completely changed. Again, shout out to the. It's so weird telling a joke that I told the first time.
We're really unoriginal. We just reuse jokes.
No, because I wasn't recording, so it doesn't count. Me looking over to.
Yeah, this is the first time to you guys.
Yeah, this is the first time.
I would also like to say that I am the podcast master. I was the one who noticed the error in the beginning.
Oh yeah,
I like to say that I am a professional and I'm ready to take over the world.
Shout out to you. But that first joke, I was shout out to all the people that peaked in high school.
Hey man,
down bad right now.
No, we all know.
Oh, yeah,
we all know.
We know those people.
Yeah, you guys could definitely think of 2 or 3 people that peaked a little too early.
But I was just thinking of that idea of evolvers change and stuff like that, and just I would say I've there's definitely things that's changed about me. I look better, obviously. Right. Trying to get validation. I look better, right?
Yo, comment down below if I look better.
Rate me.
We're gonna have a poll. Who looks better?
I don't know if you remember those rate me 10 out of 10. Have you ever seen those?
Oh, dude, I saw I think it was a DJ. Someone posted rate and to be honest or whatever.
Oh my god.
Bro, it's funny because I remember doing those.
Oh, me too.
A lot.
Me too.
Bro, I live for that.
Bro, the hottest. I mean, you can probably look into my old Facebook messengers yo, how do you think how hot do you think I am?
And you literally only post it for those 1 or 2 girls that you really
I don't care about anybody else. If this one girl says it, I'm validated.
No, you're shooting your shot.
I'm valid as
that was the way you shoot your shot in middle school.
Oh, for sure. Yo, rate me 1 out of 10. It's bro, you're ugly.
And you got people lying
No, it's no, you're a queen. You're 15 of mine. No, but
what's that meme? It's she's very gorgeous to me.
No, but that had me just thinking, evolving versus change. There's been things that I've grown out of and stuff like that from high school, but I really feel like I'm almost the same person, and there's things about me that has obviously changed. But you were I'm. Well, no, I don't know this man.
Yeah, I was about to say I was gonna jump in. I mean, I don't know how many people who are watching this actually knew me from early high school days or whatever. So shout out to the Grace Academy crew if you're listening to this. But yeah, I think for me I've changed a lot, man. That's why I wouldn't even say evolve, because I think when you're evolving, it's kind of you started a place and you kind of just refined. I felt I had a fundamental change in who I am.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean for the better. Hopefully. I don't know. It's my own opinion, obviously, but I don't know. Yeah, I think to me, I'm very different. Fundamentally different.
Interesting, yeah, because I would definitely say I've evolved rather than changed, because I think I'm fundamentally the same person. Yeah. But there's some things that have changed, of course. I've gotten better at business. I'm more savvy. I'm better at my social skills, all that stuff. Right. I mean, I've always been kind of a social butterfly, but
I definitely wasn't.
I think I've gotten even better at that. I definitely know what makes people tick, and I like getting into that stuff. I mean, you say I love talking to people, so it's that's a thing that I do.
Well, it's funny for me. I think I don't even remember really enjoying being super social until I was like 19. 20.
Interesting, like at all.
Yeah, I just didn't like people.
Really,
yeah.
really.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I just had like my own little world, and I think I'd rather just like stay in that and just do my own thing and blah blah blah. So I think like I've really started to like value relationships more as I've gotten older, and kind of like enjoyed like social experiences and going out with people and like stuff like that. I think I'll always enjoy. Like I think I am kind of an introvert at heart. I think I'd rather like hang out with one or two people in a private environment than go to a massive party with a tons of people. I think that's naturally probably who I am. But I'm a lot more comfortable in those bigger social environments where like in the past, like I wouldn't even go.
Yeah, I think it's weird for me. I think I think people can kind of agree with this, like, antisocial extrovert, like, that Kendrick line. But like
that's how I feel.
That's how I feel sometimes.
That's how I feel like I can be good socially.
Yeah.
Or like, I can, like I have this extrovert side that I can have fun. I think it is fun, but like I think for me to like, because I think the way they define like extrovert versus introvert is like, how do you recharge? So for me, like when I need to like recharge and
if we're talking about recharge, then I don't want to be around anyone.
I need to be alone.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's some people who like they need to be around other people to like get back to like their energy.
No, because people like that was what I was like, because people can
drain
annoy me. Yeah. No, because I think I definitely have like a threshold of like, and then also like certain people and certain energies. Again, that sounds so woo from last episode, energy and
Yeah.
But
but it's real though. I mean, everyone has like a certain vibe. How like we all have like that friend who's like super super high energy, and you can only take them for like 10 hours or 4 hours or whatever it is.
Super high energy people. I can only take them in bite little times. Like I can't spend too much time with them. 'Cause I'm not like that. Like I think. No, I think socially maybe I'm a little bit more extroverted. I would say I'm probably a little bit more extroverted, but I think overall I'm an introvert at heart. Like I like being chill, and I think, but it's good to know like who you are and like how you recharge and stuff like that, because you can be frustrated like, oh man, why am I just so like upset? Like, it's like, maybe because you've been around a lot of people. Maybe you just need that deep. But even those extroverts, I think they extroverted people sometimes I think they maybe lean on people too much, where the introverts don't lean on people at all, which just causes a problem. And so
well, I was gonna say, I mean, to me it almost feels like how I remember like an old pastor said this about how like you got to be careful about like what you allow to define you. Oh, yeah. Like for example, like all the what's it called, astrology?
Oh
it's my gosh. I'm an asparagus.
What's your moon? Something like whatever.
What's your shining moon? Sun, or like I don't even know what it is, but like people have all these like, oh, like I'm a Capricorn, so therefore I have to act like this, and like people put themselves in these boxes, like I'm an extroverted Capricorn,
moon, rising, sun, earth, wind, and fire,
unicorn. I'm like, just dude,
you ever see that meme? It's like I'm an asparagus. You ever see?
Oh, I think that's what I'm talking about.
That's funny. A lot of people kind of get caught up in that, and even that Enneagram, like for those hardcore Christians out there. I mean, they're like, it's tricky. What is your? I mean, you remember at that?
Oh yeah, we were at the wine.
Yeah, and it was like, hey, like what's your?
Oh my gosh, what type? Like, what they call it, type?
Yeah, 8 wing 2 or something, whatever I am. Right. Yeah. They're like, well then that is your that's what. You're a healthy 8, but when you're unhealthy, you're your wing, and I'm like, all right, like.
Well, no, and it's funny because like especially like you'll see this with girls specifically, like they'll almost try to like explain to you your own personality. It's funny. Like I've been living with me for 23 years. No, I'm pretty sure I know how me works. I don't need you to explain who I am.
Yeah, what my number does to me is like I don't come on, that means. Now, and not to say that it doesn't mean anything, because I think the Myers-Briggs, like all that kind of stuff.
I think there's truth to it.
I think it's a good place to start, but I think like it's not a good place to end. And I think
I would even say not even end, but it's not a good place to stay.
Yeah, it's not a good place to stay.
Yeah, where it's like you allow things to like define you. It's like, no, I'm an introvert, therefore I can never walk up to somebody I don't know, or like, oh, I'm an extrovert, so I always have to be around people. But people put these like titles on themselves and then box themselves into categories that is not even how they really are if they didn't put that title on themselves.
Yeah, I'm about to Andrew Tate it real quick, but it's like that's even like when you think about things like such as, which are very real things as depression, anxiety, and stuff like that, which you can have anxiety like clinically, you can have depression clinically, but a lot of that stuff I think comes from a frame of like identifying yourself with something and staying there and being stagnant. Like and a lot of people can get caught up in that, which my heart goes out to them, because I know how it feels to have bouts of feeling depressed or feeling anxiety, but some people like latch that on. I mean, even like ADD or ADHD, some people like latch that on to them and make that their personality trait. Like no, that's who I am. And instead of saying like, oh no, like, you know, that's what I'm dealing with that currently. And it may sound like semantics, but when you really think about it, you know, the mind is such a powerful thing that, you know, when you start telling yourself, I'm depressed, it'll start showing up in your life in various situations, different things, and you'll look for it, you know.
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, cause that's a big thing for me, because, like, I've definitely, like talked to, like, a therapist about this, and they were talking about how, like, you can't, and it sounds like semantics, like, oh, you're just playing word games, but, like, it sounds like that, but it's really not. Because what you're doing by saying, like, I am anxious, I am depressed, is like you're identifying with your problems. So therefore, it's like you're not going to be able to separate from that because that's who you are.
And that's a very dangerous thing. Even,
you know, versus like I experience I get anxious sometimes, or I experience feelings of depression, or I go through seasons or whatever. It's important to make that distinction. I know it sounds kind of like petty, but it is a difference.
But even in like what you do, like I know that's a big problem for me. It's like, you know, then because all the ups are really high and then the lows are really lows, because I'm identifying myself with, hey, I'm a, you know, a strategist. So it's like, you know, I give strategies for companies, and I, you know, I do web design. So like that's who I am. And so the moment I lose for it, this is my therapy session. This is my therapy session right now. The moment I mean, no, I'm just being, I'm being real with that. Like the moment I lose in that, it's like my whole world is distraught, right? It's like, because I put so much of who I am into what I'm doing, and you know, you lose a sense of self, you lose a sense of purpose, even like because you think you're in your purpose, but you're not even. You went past that of identifying yourself with who you are, and so like. You know, I think we kind of had this similar question, conversation on the first podcast we've ever done before, and it's kind of like how you identify yourself, and it's a very important thing. Of like, you know, we're Christians, so we identify with us as, you know, brothers in Christ, and so that's the lens that we view ourselves, and so we almost have someone to put it on. The weight is not all on us, right? Because we have somebody we're going through life with someone, that person being the one and only true Jesus Christ. Let me invite you to my Lord and Savior. I do an altar call.
Start knocking on people's doors.
Jehovah's Witness out here.
Yo, oh my God, Lord. Yo, my dad like beefs with Jehovah. Oh my,
your dad is the best.
I almost had a. You know, it's funny. It brings me back to like school. I was at school and I had a Jehovah's Witness guy. Like, no, it's two people. There were two people came up to me, and it was so funny because like I didn't know like what they were doing, and it was so funny how like they were like older. They weren't like super old, but they were probably like in their 30s. And at the time, I was like 19, 20, and they just came up to me, and it's funny how like you'll see adults try to like be cool. They're like, hey, what's up, man? And like it was so like forced. You know, and they basically like, oh, I don't even know what they try to do. I think they tried to like invite me to some kind of like group or something. But, but they're talking like they were saying, oh yeah, like Jesus and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm a Christian. Like, yeah, let's talk about whatever.
It's misleading,
No, for sure, but like it felt different. If that makes sense. It's like, okay, like we're speaking the same language, but we're not like necessarily on the same page.
We're on the same song, different beat. You know.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? It's like. No, like I don't. That's not it for me. But you know, God bless you.
No, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's like I just say, you know what? Hey, good luck on your path, and you know, just keep it going.
Yeah, no, but I think that's a good place to start with identity, and knowing, you know, who you are, and all that kind of stuff, and you know, like not even to even, you know, bring it in a religious sense, but I think even a lot of people don't know who they are in there by themselves, right? And I know that's something that we talked about last podcast about, you know, your friend group and stuff like that, and we kind of like extended that conversation at lunch where we were like, you know, just like tiers of friend, like, you know, and breaking it down. I want to hear you talk because you're way better at that. Like me, I'm like. Best friend or nothing.
Oh, we're jumping into friend tiers?
Yeah, we can jump into that.
Yeah. So pretty much what we talked about is how like, and I think everyone has a mutual understanding of what this looks like, or, you know, at least the initial concept of it, about how like, you know, we talked about best friends, we talked about like acquaintances, we talked about good friends, and we were talking about like how do you separate between a best friend? Well, number one, before we even get into that, we were talking about, can you have several best friends?
Yes.
And I said no. Because to me, like, think about what you guys, like, you know, I'm a big word person, like, so you like listen to what you're actually saying.
So it's
like you're saying your best friend. So to me, that's one person. Like you can't have best friends. Like I know like girls like they probably have like
Oh my
16
God,
best
yeah.
friends, and then
No,
half
that's like my best
half of
friend.
them are gone by like the end of the summer or
No,
something.
that's my best friend, but you talk about her behind your back. Interesting. Like heavily
Interesting.
too, right? Like I think that's a crazy thing to me.
Yeah, and so to me, like I've definitely been one to have like a smaller group of friends, but I'm much closer to them. Like I'd probably say if I had to give out like numbers, I'd probably say like between 3 to 5 friends I consider like are close. I don't, yeah, I'm polite, always, but like I'm never the type to have like acquaintances, if that makes sense.
No, I mean, like I said, like I'm really like stark. It's black and white for me. It's like we're
Because you only have so much time.
friends or we're not.
Yeah, you only have so much time. You only have so
Yeah.
much energy, and so it's like, all right, well, if I have a limited amount of this, then I'm gonna spend it with the people who I want to spend it with.
Right, and I think I can't now. It's kind of mixing podcast word and conversation we actually talk because I can't remember if I already said this or not.
Yeah.
But you become those people.
Right.
You become, and so like I mean, it's a scary thing, man. It's a scary thing. Like
That's true.
No matter if you want that to be true or not.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what law that's called, but it's like just the idea of just
Yeah.
because you acknowledge something to be truthful or not,
Right.
Doesn't matter because it is true. So it's
Right,
like,
like
can
whether you
acknowledge it or
choose
not.
to accept it is one thing, but like whether it exists is a completely different other question. Like
Exactly.
it exists, but whether you're gonna acknowledge it or not is different. And so it's tricky, man. But I'm a big because I think the way I explained it, I think we talked about this like months ago, like on the beach trip or whatever. And I was saying how like to me a best friend is someone that is automatically in best man territory.
Yes.
Because I think about it like a wedding. Like if I want to get a bunch of people on stage and say to whoever's at the wedding or to the world or whatever, these are my people. And we all have like friends and stuff like that. But there's an inherent ranking, whether you would acknowledge it or not.
I know. It kind of made like
No, see, but I think this way about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like I rank a lot of different stuff. So I'm not sure if you subscribe to that notion of like the tiers and the rankings and stuff.
Yeah, because
to me, I think it's true.
Yeah, that was
Whether you acknowledge it or not.
Yeah, that
We
was the
all
hiccup.
know at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, okay, you have a sick vacation. There's only, so you plus 3 other people, who are you going to pick? Or not, even better, you have 1 seat to your dream vacation. You can't invite your family or whatever. You're taking like your friend. Which friend are you taking?
Jeez,
See, like, and that makes you choose. You know what I mean? Like,
Man,
you're not. All friends are not the same, and I think that's okay. It doesn't mean that you don't.
Oh, yeah.
You don't care about your lower tiered friends.
Lord,
Yeah, I'm about to have one of my friends come up to me after this and be like, "Oh, so I'm a lower tier friend."
you're getting a head up in the.
Yo, where's
deep.
my pizza invite? No, but I think I think there is a ranking system among friends.
Yeah, I don't think there's nothing wrong. I think
And I don't think that's a bad thing.
I think that's a more healthy approach than I take.
Yeah.
Of like, yo, we're friends, great. We're not,
Right.
like associate, like whatever. Like, and of course, I'll see you. If I see you, I'll say hi and stuff like that. But
Right.
I'm not like going out of my way to, hey man, like what are you
Yeah.
doing this weekend? I think because I know I like to have deep relationships, so it's
Yeah.
like if I'm friends with someone, I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
let's go deep in this thing. Like, yo, I'll tell you like what I got
Right.
going on, what do you got going on? Like, let's work through this together. Because I'm really
Yeah.
like, yo, let's come together as a team. That's
Yeah.
why I take it serious. I take friendship
Yeah.
like that serious only
Right.
because like. Things in the past were shady people and stuff like that. So it's like for me, it's like, oh no, I've chose to say, hey, like something I said last podcast, like I only choose these people to get
Yeah.
on my nerves. So if one of these people are on my nerves,
Yeah,
they're on my nerves, and
Yeah.
I allow that to happen. And so
Right.
you kind of work it out like that. But there is a healthy way to do it and a not healthy way. And I think the unhealthy way is just like the ultimate black or white.
Well, no, and I think there's some people like, and we talked about this too.
Yeah.
Like TikTok kids are so emotional.
Bro, it irritates the most.
Okay, I think it's funny to be okay, and I don't know like if this is the right approach.
It's ridiculous.
And maybe this makes me sound like a jerk. I don't know.
No.
But like it's funny because like I'll be on TikTok and then like, and we all like if you've ever been on TikTok like that like there's certain I'm trying to think about how to explain this like but they'll basically have like they'll be in a dark room.
Yeah.
Mood
with
Juice WRLD's
that
playing.
red light filter of the red lights in there, and they're like,
Yeah, and like they'll be like 15 years old. They're like they're laying down in bed, like facing no, even better. They'll be facing down, and there's like Juice WRLD playing,
Yeah.
and she's like, "I'll never love someone ever again."
I'll never be the same. Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, you are 15 years old. I'm like, what is going on?
oh yeah, now I do.
Like,
remember
what
this
kind of relationships are
conversation.
you on?
But I mean, that kind of goes back to like, you've never had nothing hard in your, like, you never went through anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even remotely hard, or like like, and it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
like, oh, I grew up on the streets, you know. But like,
exactly.
but you've never went through anything
Like
mentally.
adversity.
And I think that also goes to go to the age, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't say I didn't have some type of existential crisis at 15, but you know, but even still, like, I was aware of life, if that makes sense. And so that thing again, that throws me off every time it happens.
No, I know.
Yeah, and so, yeah, like, they're kind of like you said, like, face down and, like, you know, doing all this stuff, listening to Juice WRLD, listening to the saddest songs, like, why am I depressed? I'm like,
Well, no, and that's something that I think, like, Andrew Tate talked about, is how, like, you're. Well, and I've never understood this. You know, so in no way do I want to come off like insensitive or not understanding of people's situations, because obviously I do believe, like, you know, I do believe in depression, I do believe in anxiety. I'm not trying to, like, you know, I've experienced anxiety, like, I very much understand what all that's about. But at the same time, I think it does take a certain level of self-awareness to understand that, like, so for example, if you're depressed, are you doing things that are depressing? Like, for example, like, people like, they say, oh, I'm depressed, but, like, they'll start, you know, they'll turn on their playlist and it's like talking about doing drugs and dying young and like, and all this stuff. And that's why, like, you know, with Juice WRLD, for example, like, I don't know, I'm a big believer in, you get certain energies from certain types of music. And so for me, like, I don't know, dude, like, Juice WRLD talking about, like, you know, doing drugs and I'm gonna die young and blah blah blah. I'm like, how do you expect, it's almost like, how do you expect to get light from a dark source?
Well, because is it,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how that's making you, like, feel better.
So I think that's the idea of the fruit in something. So it's like, you know, that action, where's the fruit in that action? Where, like, you know, like, if you do XYZ thing, right? If you're always listening to sad music, if you're always wearing all black, well, I don't relax, I always wear all black. if you know,
it's fashion, it's fashion.
You know, Kanye, you know, my fashion icon. But, you know, you do these depressing things, you do these sad things, and wonder, like, even to the point where it's like, you know, you're on social media 24 hours a day.
Yeah, bro.
Which, you know, COVID kind of, like, you know, exacerbated that a little bit. So, like, a lot of people are just on their phones, all that kind of stuff, because there's really nothing else to do. But when you do things like that, you end up, you know, feeling depressed. And then now, next thing you know, you're like, I'm depressed, I suffer with depression. I was like, wait, hold up, wait, let's look at the last, you know, the 6 months of your life. What have you done, right? Like, what has happened? Oh, okay, you watch YouTube all the day. Yeah, I would be depressed too. Do you work out? No. Do you do this? No. It's like, do you drink water? Like, is all you drink is, like, stuff with sugar in it? Like it's so funny. Like, you could just look at those little things and find out, like, hey, man, like, that's the problem.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm a big believer in health, man. I think, like, how you physically treat your body will 100% correlate to how you mentally feel.
Oh, yeah.
100%. And I heard a good line, like, back when we were still going to Elevation, how, I think it was a guest pastor who said this, but, like, how comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
And how it's, like, especially on social, with Instagram and blah, blah, blah. And obviously, like, this is not, like, a new message, so I don't want to sound like, oh, you'll get off social media. And, like, I hate when people, like, you know, like, preach at you or whatever. You know, but I think there is some truth to comparing your day-to-day life with someone's highlight reel. And you keep on consuming that over and over and over again, especially if you feel like you should be in the other person's shoes and you're not. It's a reminder. Like, in a lot of ways, it's a reminder of, hey, you're not where you want to be. Hey, you're not where you want to be. You know, it's like, and how many times do you need to hear that before it starts mentally wearing on you?
Well, no, before you start believing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, wait, maybe I am beneath them. Maybe I am. And you know, to something Frisella, which, my God, Andy Frisella, if you're listening.
Andy, if you're listening.
Invite me on
episode
podcast. 2. Right? Imagine, though.
Hey,
but,
never know.
I lost my chain of thought.
Comparison is thief of joy.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, like, you'll start looking at that, and something that he was saying of, like, you know, you'll look at these guys that have, you know, a 10K month or something like that, and, like, but it's like, yo, number one, did it take for them to get there? Number one, and number two, how many of them did they have? Because just as much as they did that, like, you know, I've had great months, you've had great months. Like, we can make it seem like we make $1 million a year.
Oh, no. Well, and that's the thing, too. And, like, obviously, it's, like, not new information, but, like, it's so easy to lie, bro.
So easy.
It is so easy to make it look like you're doing way better than you actually are.
When I like, just by screenshots alone, like, we could make it seem like we're millionaires.
Oh, for sure.
just by like finessing.
We go to like certain
see
restaurants.
the Stripe payments and
we spend like $70 at a nice dinner, do a photo shoot at the dinner, like
easy, right? And so it's
like
you
like rent a car for a day, like bro. There's so many like little,
and so like I think we say that too to be like you just be watchful over what you allow in, like you know what you allow into your atmosphere.
Well, and I'm talking to myself too, man.
Of your atmosphere of influence, and that's something I said. We're at lunch, like yo, your friend. Would you allow them to influence you, right? It's like the people around you. Would you allow that? Like, look at their life. You want that as an influence, right? Because that's how I feel like I look at like a lot of my friends, and I think it's good to have like the tier thing even in the top 5 or top 3.
Yeah.
Like yo, like out of these people, like who do I want to model my life after? Like you know, faith wise, you know, health wise,
right?
Relationship wise, you know, how they interact with other people, you know, their careers. Like what do they have that I feel like that could benefit for me in my life? Like, do I want those traits? Because even if you don't want those traits, you're going to end up picking up one.
You're gonna get something. Yeah, you're gonna get something, whether it's positive or negative. Like, yeah, that's definitely something that's true too as well. So like, you gotta be a bit aware of who you're around. Obviously, we talked about that last episode. Yeah, no, but it's an interesting game, man, for sure. Like, you gotta be careful with social media, for sure. And I've taken breaks and stuff like that, and be able to pause.
I mean, you know me, I'll delete the app.
No, you go on a Zen. You go on like on a Zen mode.
I have to. I'll go crazy, man. Like I'll delete every app.
And I think that's healthy. You know what I mean? Like to be able to get some space, do your own thing, be your own world, and stuff like that.
And you have to know yourself, man. Like I mean, I know myself. I can get really toxic really fast. So I'm like, let me get off TikTok, Instagram, YouTube for a minute. Right. Let me just read my Bible and listen to worship. Because sometimes I need those seasons. Because if not, I'll go insane.
Oh no, it's easy to.
I'll compare myself. Oh yeah, by the way, heads up to the YouTube peeps. If you want to listen to the rest of this episode, go onto Spotify or Apple Music. And with that being said, peace out, YouTube. But yeah, I think you can get real toxic real fast. It's so easy for me to do it. Oh, man. It's so easy. Bro. And we were just saying like it's easy to go down. It's so easy to in anything. It's easy to get off the diet. It's easy to stop, having good months. It's easy to stop, eating healthy, all that kind of stuff. It's so hard. Like it's easy to stop it, but to get back that momentum back.
Yes. Oh. Well, no, and I talk about this too, man, all the time. I feel like by the time I'm older.